not been taken to the ground where the people have applied them. If we can give all those IDs to assistant chiefs, an assistant chiefs receiving 10 IDs knows the owner.
No.
They know the house. Why is he holding those things and staying with them there? What do they have? The speaker was supposed to actually summon the minister of it, but of course you know he can't. That minister is more senior than the speaker himself. So that is exactly why he cannot. That is exactly why he cannot summon him.
The CS Interior was in the house.
Let me say something.
The CS Interior was in the house yesterday.
Let me say something.
Nobody's a sacrifice.
You should have told him.
You are saying the right thing.
It was very simple.
You are saying the right thing,
No.
but
Should have told him.
diluting
No.
wrong information.
Let's allow him, then I'll come to
Yeah. Allow me to finish. What we are saying, does it mean that the Ministry of Interior does not have the mechanism of distribution of these particular IDs? If we have identified a need of redistributing back the IDs to the lowest cadre thereof, in terms of to the door, if we have to, and even look for these people, the person who can be able to do that is the assistant chief and the chief thereof. That is this mechanism of government that is able to do that. Because he has already told us that the staff in the NCDFs and everywhere else that have been employed by the speaker,
Parliamentary staff.
I'm not
Parliamentary
supposed to. What facilitation are they supposed to give thereof if it was not to correct the IDs and take them to the chiefs?
Yeah.
You understand? So we keep on confusing roles here when we have individuals who do not understand what exactly are they supposed to do. That particular problem is very simple.
All right.
If the government, if the minister, can you say the Minister of Interior does not have the money to do that? Now that they require the assistance of the MPs and their offices, they have the money.
The provincial administration is
Absolutely.
Yes.
And they can do that very easily.
Yes. Rachel, you wanted to add something?
That's what I wanted to say, that I think there are ministries mandated with the different responsibility of Interior. And so what a speaker needed to have done was just to summon the CS or the PS to just ensure that there's distribution of IDs through the mechanisms of administrative, whatever that they have within their ministry. So we don't have to belabor this point that, but what we agree upon is that Speaker Wetangula was wrong. That one we can't defend.
When association does not agree.
That one we can't defend.
I don't
by merely telling them, I agree that as politicians we mobilize. Even me today, there are people, my team are there in Bondo, mobilizing collection and mobilizing registration. So that we have them, after you've registered, can you ensure that you take up your ID? But it is not my responsibility to go pick and deliver at your doorstep that this we are doing, because it would be looked at as a favor. And you know, some of these people have waited for these IDs forever. Right. So when this happens, then what happens? People, you are at the mercy of the person who gave you the ID.
Others are not aware.
Yeah.
That's
so
I think we've wrapped up.
I think that one.
Unless
that one.
Association, you want to
we agree
labor your,
that,
at the end of the day,
your defense of the speaker.
We still argue differently, but still say the same thing.
Yes. If at all it was a directive, it was wrong.
At the end of the day, no, it wasn't a directive. It was an advisory. It was an advisory.
So you believe that Parliament has a role
because
in
members of Parliament,
distribution of IDs?
Members of Parliament have a responsibility of representation and, of course, oversight. Within the context of representation, you can mobilize at the grassroots. Within the context of oversight, you can summon. So we are still saying the same thing. So use both methods. What works is what will carry the day.
I don't think you'll agree
so fundamentally,
No, I'm actually agreeing with him.
Yeah,
in terms of
he's
representation, you can mobilize.
And that's what
not
the
deliver IDs.
In terms of oversight, in terms of oversight, you can summon. And I
Very
want
briefly,
to say,
so that we can
Fred, I want to allay fears, because we don't need to tell Kenyans that some officers in this country are immune and they cannot even be summoned to Parliament. All ministries and all ministers can be summoned to Parliament, including the CS Interior. As far as I know, the CS Interior was in Parliament yesterday to answer questions. To answer the questions. So nobody is special in this country in terms of our governance structure. And if a proposal is that Parliament should summon CS Interior on purposes of IDs and the rest, so that be it. But that question needs to be raised by a member of Parliament.
Yes.
So let's not waste time distorting facts.
Very briefly, because
I just want to mention something.
The media should not sensationalize by distorting information, so that we waste time discussing wrong things.
I have had one association, but I need to say something. most Kenyans are not even aware that those IDs are ready for correction. We have a very confused system where you even receive an SMS or that SMS that they send you to go and correct your ID 5 months, 6 months after it was ready for correction. Sometimes, and I've seen this, you could receive that particular SMS after you have even corrected. There's a lot of confusion. So actually, the majority of those people could not be aware that their IDs are ready. So we need to ensure that the government systems are efficient, such that when an SMS comes and tells you that you need to correct your ID, it is ready. Most of the people could not be aware that their IDs are ready.
I think we are expecting too much from the government also as Kenyans. We also need to take up our responsibility. Yes. Whenever you go to apply for an ID, immediately you ask, when should I collect it? They tell you a week or so. It is your responsibility to go now and check. Why are you waiting for an SMS a month or 3 later?
I told you Kenyans don't have money.
No,
Kenyans
it's not about money.
To be going to the provincial.
No, I think we're expecting
let's hold that debate.
No,
and you go there 5 times, 10 times, and you have been told it's not ready.
There's just so much that the government can do. It is also our responsibility, yes.
Today's issue was what those two papers have quoted as being a directive by the Speaker, and I think that was a subject. We've addressed that one. As we end the show, let's talk about the season of politics and the emergence of new political parties. A lot of contestations, both in the united opposition, in the proposed coalition or the anticipated coalition between UD and ODM, and now the 93rd political party was registered this week. People's Renaissance Movement. Yeah. Yes. Let's watch this story and then come back and discuss this reorganization.
The office of the Registrar of Political Parties was filled with pomp and colour as supporters of the latest political outfit in town, linked to Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna-led Linda Mwananchi faction, the People Renaissance Movement Party jubilated the registration of the new party that brings the number of registered political parties in the country to 93.
You are coming into a crowded street. There are already existing shops here. You are now the 93rd shop that is coming on board. And all of them have been receiving customers in different ways. You really have to find a way of making sure your office becomes very special, that everybody wants to buy from your shop and not from the other shops.
Sources within PM Party say Saboti MP Caleb Amisi is behind the new outfit, backed by 27 sitting members of parliament. The leaders, however, cannot declare allegiance to the new outfit while still in ODM, as it would go against the Political Parties Act.
We understand that Kenya is a youthful nation. Why? Because 75% of our population is below 35. That is not to say that we are aligning ourselves with Linda Mwananchi. However, if Linda Mwananchi want to be our friends, who would hate friends of that nature? Would you?
The party, whose symbol is a hummingbird and whose colors are predominantly white and blue, says it's a people's movement driven by the youth and aimed at liberating Kenyans from a poor economy, as well as fixing the education and health sectors. It also seeks to safeguard the constitution and distance itself from traditional politicians.
Don't categorize us with 1 term or 2 term. We are here as the third and the only force that will save Kenyans from the problems they are facing currently.
But for the first time, Kenyans have given themselves a party. And that is why in front of you, you are not seeing your usual political faces.
The Renaissance is not just any political party. We are not going to be screaming on rooftops and dancing on buses. What we are going to do is offer deliberate change.
An attempt by promoter Charles Wanyonyi to legally secure the name Linda Mwananchi was rejected by the Registrar of Political Parties, who argued that it closely resembles other slogans such as Linda Kenya and Boresha Kenya, effectively handing the Sifuna team victory. The registration of the new kid on the block, the PM Party, is seen as a safe haven and a bargaining chip for the Linda Mwananchi camp ahead of the 2027 general election. Apul Kamau, TV47 in Nairobi.
Yes, 15 months to the next general election. More parties, 93 in total, are now registered. But the question is,